So you should be seeing my slides. So I'm Josh Westgard, University of Maryland in College Park. And this is an update for the University of Maryland Fedora implementation. I'm going to give you a little bit of background and then just briefly some of the things we've been working on. All right, so background. So I like to call this the tale of three repositories. So we are actually still on our three repositories. We're hoping to get to two very soon. So we currently run Avalon Media System for streaming media. We've got something like 10,000 streaming items in that system. It's working very well for us. We're very happy. We also have an application called Archelon, which we use for paged media. That's based on Fedora 4, and that's a homegrown system. I was very interested in the UC Davis presentation. Our system, we've got a lot of the same components, I think, working in that system. It's very similarly architected, but you all are further along than us as far as cloud integration. That is on our roadmap, though. We have about 2 million resources in that repository now. We just actually added another couple 100,000 over the last couple of weeks. We've been uploading the data from a large grant project. And then we still do have our legacy system. So we've been using Fedora for a long time, and we have a lot of content in an older system that we are slowly but surely plugging away at and moving over, and hope to get that shut down fairly soon. So we've been Fedora users since the late 2000s. Some of the things we've been working on lately, we recently migrated our public user interface for digital collections into Drupal. So we were previously on an older Java-based CMS, and we've now aligned ourselves with Campus to use Drupal. And so we can get some of their theming and their expertise, I think, benefits us there. And our digital collections is now, along with our website, is now in Drupal. We're currently investigating some performance and reliability issues in the Archelon repository. We think that we think we're continuing to have many members. So our version of Fedora for Archelon is still the mode shape version, and so we were hoping to get. And we still are hoping to get our legacy repository shut down, everything migrated before we undertake getting out of the mode shape Fedora. But I think we're having some performance issues with many members. We're noticing that we've loaded some content with many pages, and the performance degrades with those items. So working on that. It also is possible that there's a Kubernetes issues involved. So I think we have this messaging-based architecture similar to UC Davis. And in the Kubernetes, as pods go up and down in these applications, it seems we're losing messages occasionally that we were a little surprised to see. But I think those are solvable problems. We are planning to upgrade our Avalon, so that's on our roadmap soon. I believe we're on 7.4. I just was at the Avalon roundtable the other day, and they're talking about 7.7, I believe. I hope I'm getting those numbers right. And we're gonna, or is it 4.7? Anyway, I may have those numbers wrong, but we're gonna go a couple points up on the Avalon application soon. And we're also, as I said, working on shutting down that legacy repository with a deadline of June 24, when the OS of the VM where it is running goes end of life. So that gives us a hard deadline. We are planning to upgrade Archelon to Fedora 6, and we'll probably be going from 4 directly to 6, but that remains to be determined. And we also want to move both of our repositories into cloud infrastructure. So we have some hardware in our data center that is getting old and probably isn't cost effective to replace all that. And so we're probably looking to go to cloud. So what have we been working on lately? So we've done OAI-PMH for both Archelon and Avalon. So we are collaborating on a grant-funded digitization project that requires harvesting. And so we developed OAI-PMH endpoints for both of those repositories. And the link there is for the Archelon version. In addition to that, as part of that OAI-PMH rollout, we've added support for permalinks, which we didn't have previously in Archelon. We happen to use handles for that. But in order to expose things via OAI-PMH, we needed a persistent identifier for everything. We'll soon be releasing a new feature of publication states in Archelon. So you'll be able to load content and have it not be public yet. And then when you publish it, it will automatically get, the application will mint the handle from the handle database and apply that to the item as it's made public. So here's an example of the web interface for the OAI-PMH endpoint, just so you can see some of the collections we've got there. We've also done some IIIF service upgrades. So we recently replaced our Loris image server with Cantaloupe, and we've enjoyed the benefits of that system. That's working well. We also, in that same development sprint, we implemented a more aggressive caching in our image server architecture. So we have an application called Mezcal for the mezzanine caching layer. And it's enabled us to support archival content described at the folder level. So think of items with hundreds of pages, up to 400 some pages, I think the largest ones are. And so I'll show you in a minute. The viewer, you have the thumbnails popping up in IIIF. You need to have pretty fast response in order for that to be really user-friendly. This allowed us also, this aggressive caching allowed us to abandon persistent access JPEGs in Fedora. So we're no longer loading the access versions of image-based content into the repository. Those are, created on demand by the image server from the preservation file, the TIFF file, and they live cache only in this caching system. And this also allowed us to support thumbnails in search results. So we have the thumbnails can be cached, and then when you get a list of search results, it's very fast to just pull those up and display them on your search list, which was a request we had for users for them to find the things they're looking for faster. That last little bit there was that's not supposed to be on that slide. So here's an example of what I was talking about with the IIIF and the images. So these thumbnails here are being provided by that caching layer, and they come up fast now, even with these very large objects. We also did some public interface improvements. So we moved, as I said, into Drupal, lining us with the campus standard. We added thumbnails to the search results screen. I'll show that in a minute. And as I said, it's for quicker discovery. And then we added that PDF download button. If I can go back, just you see that down here at the bottom. Got a PDF download here that was a requirement of the grant. And so now when you have a large object like this, you can get just a quick download that way of a PDF. We thought is a good user-friendly feature. So here's the Drupal interface for the digital collections. You can see up at the top, we've got our different repositories listed there. So audiovisual is the Avalon, the legacy repository is the old Fedora, and then the new repository is the Archelon repository. And you can search across these in this search interface. But when you go to access the materials, it takes you to the different repositories. Here's an example of our search interface. You see the thumbnails in the search results. That was a desired and much appreciated improvement. And you see we've got faceting. This is Archelon. This is actually Drupal because of the public interface, but the Archelon application looks very similar. And it's a Blacklight based search. This is a Drupal based search. So that's all I had, and I wanted to leave some time for questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, we can take questions. Oh, Emily is asking, can you say more about Mezcal?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so it's it's a homegrown Rails application, and it's just managing the files. Cantaloupe is creating from the TIFFs, it's creating the JPEGs, and it's just managing the location and the organization of those on disk. And then we still need to, there's still further development needed for that. We want to do cache invalidation. Of course, that's one of those tricky problems. So like when fully support removing things from the cache so you don't end up with things being sticky in the cache. And we need to enforce permissions on in the image server because of the way things are architected. Right now, if you could predict the path, you could actually get access to these cached files, even though you wouldn't have access to the TIFF. Because of the way it's set up. And so we need to basically extend our permission enforcement into that application. And so those are some of the things we're working on. But it was really designed just to solve a very specific problem, which was we have very large objects that we want to load to the repository, and it wasn't performant to be loading even the JPEGs from Fedora, just because of how quickly you need to get them all. And Fedora is really not designed to be that sort of, fast response. And so in order to support that, we really needed to do some pretty aggressive caching. And so that was the impetus behind the application. It does obviously require, you have a lot of extra storage that you're going to need for all those cached files, but that I think is a relatively small price to pay. I hope that helps answer the question. If anybody has more technical questions about it, I could put you in touch with the developer to talk about it. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else?